May the 4th be with you. That seems to be a yearly Brawlhalla event now, and look, I'm fully down. Little me would be freaking out. But it seems like it's bigger me that's freaking out a bit today, as this update brought along some interesting things. I have some thoughts. Some of them genuinely good, great even. Some of them, eh. Let's start with the most obvious change in this update before getting into the more niche things. I'm talking hidden lines in the game's code for things that were added.
Yo, this video is not sponsored, but I wanted to tell you I opened up
a second channel based on all of your requests about more longer videos. That's up right now with a bunch that you can already watch. And if you don't, I will make your life a living nightmare.
But yes, first, the addition of General Grievous to the roster as a Mako crossover. Grievous was one of my favorite characters as a kid. I love General Grievous, and I really want to love this crossover. The animations, the ideas here, I think they're really cool, but as someone that has competed in the past, that watches tournaments, I really have to think the competitive integrity here is a little out the window. And if these signature swaps were on a more popular character than Mako, that not a lot of people really play, especially in competitive settings, I wonder how the response would be. Greatsword Ensig and Katar Ensig, these can be very deceptive for which one it is, but I suppose we can say the same is for default Mako anyway. I think that's a little bit of a harder argument to make, especially because the way Grievous crouches down on both weapons looks really similar. And in a game mode like 2v2, for example, where there's more things going on the screen, it can be very difficult to tell where you're actually safe to be. And then of course we have both of these down sigs. These are quite hard to see. It's quite hard to tell what is going on and where exactly you are vulnerable. So while this crossover I think is cool, I think it's probably the best character they could add into the game, and the execution just looking at it I think is great. I do worry about the slip in competitive integrity that has been happening again. I think the Borderlands crossovers was a good moment where Brawlhalla was like, okay, we're gonna really make these match the original characters and the original animations so people aren't feeling like this is eking into pay-to-win territory. This feels a little bit like a backslide along with the Destiny crossovers that were the most recent ones. So overall, I feel a little bit strange about this. I want to enjoy it, but there's something hanging over my head that I can't really shake. Next, we have the earnable Epic Orb weapon skin, Death Star Hologram Orb. So Brawlhalla says, for 1 week only, earn this epic weapon skin completely free by successfully landing 30 orb KOs. And after this mission ends, the hologram orb will be added to Brawlhalla, and you can purchase it with Mammoth coins. So this is genuinely great to see. I feel like free players in the recent updates, especially over the past couple months, haven't really gotten much. It feels like everything has been money, bundles, and that is what's being advertised. So if you're a free player and you're just seeing the updates coming out, you're seeing the news come out, and all it is spend more money and then you can get stuff, that does not feel good. So this is, I think, the first quote-unquote free epic tier skin, and I'm on board with this. I mean, I think 30 KOs, who knows how long that's gonna take. But this is good. This is good. I like these incentives that encourage you to play and give you some kind of tangible reward for it. I know ultimately it doesn't really matter, it's an item in the game, but this is something I'm gonna get into later, where trust is a huge element when it comes to your players, and it comes to your players really supporting your game in the future, being willing to accept certain things because of the vision of the future. And I feel like trust in many ways, because of these recent updates, has been eroding slowly. So anything to get it back to say, hey, you know what? This isn't a huge thing, but it is something that you can get just from playing and enjoying our game. that is a step in the right direction. I think the Brawlhalla of some years ago probably wouldn't need to do something like this to earn trust back. They already had it, but because of recent updates, because of recent news, this is needed. And I think it's good. I think it's great. Talking about bundles though, I mentioned this earlier, this update also came with 3 bundles. It seems inevitable that bundles will launch in an update now, and I don't even know how long it's been. The most recent, 4 or 5 content updates have had bundles in it. That's a little bit crazy. I'm one of the biggest bundle haters. I made that expose on the Destiny 2 ones, so you'd expect me to really hate these 2, but I actually don't have any huge issue with them. The bundles here, these May the 4th Star Wars ones that actually will stay in the shop afterwards, because of course they will, they don't have any exclusive items in them. You can actually get everything inside of it separately if you wanted to. And it's just including them all together and cutting the price. Do you really need everything in them? Probably not. Are some people gonna buy it even though they don't need everything in it? Certainly. And is that a sound financial decision? I don't think so. But I don't feel like it's predatory, directly predatory in the same way as the previous ones. Of course, I have issues with Mammoth Coins. I have a whole video on that, and this, as something that you purchase with Mammoth Coins, falls under that. But these bundles themselves are probably the best ones in the store. Because if you are a diehard Star Wars fan and you want to get everything Star Wars, this is the best way to do it, and you're not buying something that has an inflated price because they say it's quote-unquote exclusive, when in reality, the price never gets cut because it's the only place to get it. Check out my Destiny 2 thing if you're more curious about that. That's a whole nother topic. The general consensus with these bundles seems to be like, this is a way to keep the game alive, this is them trying to get more money, it's trying to get more money for Ubisoft, and I would love to hear some kind of news, some kind of direct feedback from the devs as to why exactly we're getting bundle after bundle after bundle. I mean, maybe the answer is obvious, maybe it really is about longevity, especially because as we move into this next section here, they just added a whole bunch of titles that tells us something interesting. So currently, there are titles based on the age of your account. If you've played Brawlhalla for a year or more, you will get the Veteran of Asgard title, and that goes from Veteran of Asgard 1 to Veteran of Asgard 5. Once your account hits 6 years of age, it changes from Veteran to Captain of Asgard, and currently that is the highest ranking title. With this update, shout out to Kevin Legal for finding this, there is now a title that follows Captain of Asgard, and it's Warden of Asgard. That is if you've been playing Brawlhalla for 11 years, which some people in Alpha do have. That goes from Warden of Asgard 1 to Warden of Asgard 2, 3, 4, and 5. Once your account hits 16 years old, there is now Champion of Asgard, and that goes Champion of Asgard 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. After that, there is Grand Master of Asgard. That is when your account is 21 years old, and that goes up to Grand Master of Asgard 5. So if you're keeping track, that means there are now titles from 1 year of Brawlhalla to 25 years of Brawlhalla. Now, I don't think this directly means they are planning 25 years ahead, but what it does tell us is that Brawlhalla is thinking into the future. They want their game to survive, they want their game to sustain, and at the very least, they are going to continue developing it as long as they have the funds and the support to do so. Now, I have played Brawlhalla now for a long time. Almost 10 years I've been in the community at the very least. And I have seen the game change so many times. I've seen it change hands many times. I've seen the co-creators leave the company, new people take the place in leadership. And the direction has certainly been different. I would say for me, the direction has been concerning. So when I see something like this, where they are hoping the game stays alive for a very long time, I hope the same thing. And I hope that the way that it's done is not by milking more and more and more out of the existing players, but really focusing, honing in on acquiring new players and giving them a good experience, something that's not bland and stale and not just doing bundle after bundle with exclusive items. So that also is a perfect transition into this next announcement. Brawlhalla put out a tweet with some promising news. So there was talks amongst the community of great frustration. That wasn't amazing grammar, but you get what I'm saying because of everything I've been bringing up today. The biggest thing, I think, is people just wanted to hear what is going on. There's a level of confusion, a lack of clarity, and so Brawlhalla responded. They put out a tweet saying, "Tune in on May 13th for our next development update stream. This stream will include an update on guilds, information on a new feature called Event Center, a first look at the next iteration of the Partnered Creator Program, and more." All of that sounds good. I hope we get some good news, especially because I've been more critical of Brawlhalla these past few months than I ever have been before in that entire 10 years, and it's because I feel like we're at a big crossroads. I don't particularly like being that critical, to be honest. It's not in my blood, so much so I couldn't even say the word particularly. But I feel like if we keep going down the route that we are currently going down, the game will slowly fade away. It'll still have players, it'll still make money, but the passion, I don't know if it'll be there like it was before. It'll feel more disconnected from the heart and the soul that drew me to Brawlhalla in the first place, that got me to stick around for as long as I have. I think maybe my biggest problem is it feels like players are losing trust, as I alluded to earlier. Trust in the future of Brawlhalla and Brawlhalla's ability to grow and improve in the future. Grow and improve for those 25 years that they hope to stick around for. I want to tell stories. I want to tell Brawlhalla stories, Brawlhalla esports documentaries. I've been working on a few of those in secret, and honestly, I haven't been as interested in playing the game as much recently. A big reason for that is stuff that I've been bringing up. There haven't really been a lot of innovations, and I worry that these stories I want to tell are at some point really gonna fall on deaf ears. Who is going to care if they don't care about the game itself? I've been doing more analysis in lieu of playing the game. I've been doing more script writing and retrospectives rather than new content, let's cover the new content. And I hope that this roadmap update will change my mind. I'm not expecting the biggest news in the world, but some kind of human connection, some kind of human story that we can get a little bit of an understanding of what is even going on behind the scenes. That, I think, is what everyone is looking for. They didn't say directly if they're going to address game performance. I'm talking FPS. They didn't say if they're going to address server performance. I'm talking delay, I'm talking teleporting. Those are two really big issues that is preventing a lot of people from playing the game, that are preventing, I should say. I hope the guilds end up coming soon. People have been asking for that for a long time. I hope the event center, whatever that ends up being, is clean. And I really hope the Partnered Creator Program, and I have to imagine, hopefully, that they saw my video on it and have made some overhauls. I hope that ends up being really good too. I mean, who knows? If it looks clean, maybe I even get involved and join back. I want nothing but the best for this game. I care about it very deeply. And whenever I'm critical, maybe my tone isn't the best. I don't really know. I'm not a good gauge of how I come across, to be honest with you. But I fear that if I bring up things that are negative, then my little sub-community will turn into a typhoon of negativity, and it'll just bounce off each other and it'll multiply, and that's really not what I want ever. But I also feel like if things don't change, the game will not be the same. I probably won't be playing, and I don't know how long I'd stick around to make these bigger documentary style videos that celebrate the scene and celebrate the game. Because again, I fear that I'm going to put so much time and heart and soul into something, and if it's on a game that has lost the trust in its players, then what am I doing? Anyway, I didn't mean to make it about me, but this is just what I felt when I was looking at that news. That development update, again, if you didn't hear, is going to be mid-May. That's May 13th. I'm definitely going to react to it. I'll probably live stream. and we can see. I'm holding out hope, but I should probably temper my expectations a little bit, you know? Alright, let's go over the rest of this Star Wars content in the update. There's a few more things as well, but let me get through this first. They have a new weapon skin with an Asgardian great lightsaber, so it's the same as the Asgardian lightsabers, but this time it's a greatsword. There's a new map called Small Feed Generator, where it's kind of a reskin of the existing Star Wars map, the Duel of the Fates one, but there's new layouts, there's new KO things. And then there's the standard update where you get a title when you log in, there's updated music, and then you get daily login bonus of gold. That's all fine. It's fine. The next thing I want to talk about, though, is kind of huge. Massive image render tool update. So this is amazing. This is actually so good. If I bring it back to talk about myself again, I am going to benefit from this change a lot. This is a massive quality of life change. Basically, in the image render tool, you can now export animations, you can search, you can export multiple renders at the same time, you can get different poses. That is all really good, and it also, I think, does not matter to most people that play the game. In fact, I imagine many of you didn't even know there was an image render tool to begin with. So I recognize that. I recognize most people are not exporting images of characters for videos or for thumbnails. So it's nice that they still dedicated some dev time here, recognizing it won't get them a big community response, because this has been requested for a very long time. So I'm here, I'm saying thank you for working on this, thank you for putting this change through. I will 100% make use of this, which I don't know if that's the case for this next one, the Brawlhalla Fan Kit. They say we've been utilizing the power of the newly updated image render tool to create our most comprehensive fan kit ever. Do you want to quickly grab an animated PNG or an image sequence of Mordek's Sidesig? It's already been exported, and it's been shared in the fan kit with many, many more. That sounds great. That sounds fantastic, and it would be fantastic, except I can't find it. And I'm not the only one, so I don't really know what this is. I looked around, I don't know. I like the idea. I think it's a good idea. It sounds really great. A comprehensive list of some of the most useful images to use for Brawlhalla media. That sounds like a slam dunk. I don't know where it is, so I might just be stupid, but I also feel like this kind of directory should be made for the person who is stupidest, the least common denominator here, so I don't know. Visual and performance updates. So the first thing is the new unarmed charge FX. If you didn't know, there's new charge animations. Those are being added into the game. I was a fan. I like these. Great sword, neutral light attack, the bridge, it's going to have a slightly different animation to show the hitbox better, and then Mako is getting a few changes to boost performance for the game, which is funny because they say that it's a performance pass on Mako's base signature kit, and she got a new crossover this patch, so I don't know what's up with that. It's just funny. Maybe people are going to be playing Mako more because they see Grievous in the game. The next one they have is kind of funny. It's a game improvement category, and they say UI, and then it says the feature page now supports up to 3 pages and 30 items. Check out some cool items you may not have seen yet. So this is in the Brawlhalla, the store. The first page you see featured will now have 3 pages instead of 1 page. This feels like it's more for them than for us. I mean, I guess technically it is a game improvement, but I don't know if that's really a feature, I would say. But if we're talking features, there are a couple things here. So under bug fixes, they fixed the bug where you weren't able to enter messages into the chat box while spectating or queuing. Oh my god, this is good. We've been asking for this for months, maybe years, where spectator chat has just been broken. And it's one of those things where it's like, okay, is this minor? Yes. Does it really, really matter? No. But the fact that it went unchanged and unfixed for so long was, I think, an understandable point of frustration for players, because it goes all the way back to that thing where it's like, do we have trust? Do we have faith? Do they care about us? This is something that we brought up. This is a bug we've wanted fixed for so long. So the fact that they did sit down and do it, even though it might not be quote unquote worth it in the opportunity cost equation, it's still nice to see. Along with that, they say they fixed a bug that allowed certain attacks to follow up with the same move during chase dodge, they fixed a bug where spectating a match in Brawlhalla would cause things to disappear, and they fixed a bug that caused some multi-hit setup attacks to improperly place targets. So all that is about fixing small things that were making the game a little funky. The rest of the patch, I don't know if it's really worth going through each of the changes, but they made a number of art and animation fixes, which I think is always great. They fixed a few UX things, they fixed a few UI things as well. And these types of changes, I mean, I suppose I'm even proving it right now by skimming over it, are not going to have the same level of feedback. It's sort of like the thing I mentioned earlier with the image render tool that I think they probably want and they probably need to some degree to not get burnt out from people online just being really annoying. Some of it is justified, but I think a lot of it is definitely crossing a line. So I implore all of you in the egg community to not feed into that. And my overall impression of this patch, there's some good stuff in here, there's some concerning stuff in here, the direction overall looks positive, and I hope things are really gonna change with the news we get later this month.